Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in this video I just want to briefly go over what data fields I like to use on my Garmin and a few reasons why. Okay, so I wanted to do this short little video for you guys, just kind of explaining to you what data fields I like to use on my Garmin when I'm out training, and a few reasons why I like to use those data fields. Now, I'm actually still using my Garmin Edge 500. This computer is about going on 5 years old now, but I haven't really needed to upgrade because this one still works very well for me and haven't had any problems with it. So I'm still using the Garmin Edge 500. Really good bicycle computer, and nowadays you can get one for a very good price. And another reason why I haven't upgraded, honestly, is because a lot of the newer ones are bigger, and of course they're a little heavier, and I just can't see any reason to, have a heavier device on my bike when this one still works just as good. But let's get into the data fields and why I like those. Now, my Garmin Edge 500 will only let me do up to eight data fields on the screen at one time, and I don't have these in any particular order. It's just that once you use your data fields and you're out riding, you're going to become accustomed to what number is where very quickly. So I don't necessarily put them up in any specific order when I set the pages up. It's just over time. I've never changed them, and over time I've just come so accustomed to seeing them that I know exactly where to look to get each data field quickly. Now, in my upper left-hand corner of my screen, I have my current power. And, basically that's just exactly how much power, I'm throwing out into the bike at that given second. So, and I like to have it right up on my screen. It's right up in my top left-hand corner, which works great, because as soon as I want to get a power reading, I look up to that top left-hand corner, and boom, there it is. Now, just below that is where I keep my distance. Very self-explanatory. Just lets me know how far I've been out on the ride, and that's a data field that I just think I can't even think of anybody who wouldn't have that on their screen. Of course, you want to know how far you've been out riding throughout the day. Now, just below that, I have ride time. So pretty much how long have I been out on the ride for. This is a great, I like to have this data field on there because, obviously I want to know how long I've been out on the bike. And it's also really good for when you're doing interval work. You can, specifically hit certain intervals depending on time. So I like to have that one on there. And then just below time, you'll see I've got PWR 3S, and that's 3-second power. And the reason why I like to have that data field on there is because unlike the top power field, 3-second power, basically it's a field that will smooth out your power. And I like to use that when I'm on my intervals because power, it fluctuates so rapidly. And oftentimes it depends, just a very minor, change in the road gradient or, any type of undulation in the road can cause your power data, your instant power data, to just fluctuate all over the place. And when I'm doing my intervals, I like to focus on 3-second power. And by basically what it's doing is it's just taking your power and giving you a 3-second average. So it just helps to smooth out that number, and I find it easier to hit your power goals when you're doing intervals. This one here, this Garmin Edge, I think it will do 5-second and 10-second power also. There are some other time durations. I've always had pretty good luck with 3-second power, so that's what I've pretty much stayed with. Other side of the screen, top right-hand corner, speed. Of course, I want to know how fast I'm going. It just helps me pace out the ride, and it's good to see if you're going through particular areas, particular segments that you've gone through a lot. It's nice to know if you're above pace or behind pace. for that given section. So I use speed a lot. Actually, I look at that a lot during the ride. And one of my favorite data fields is cadence. Have to have cadence. I'm a big believer in cadence, especially when I'm climbing hills. When I'm out climbing, I like to maintain, if I can, 95 to 120 cadence on the hills. And I do a lot of cadence work, so pretty self-explanatory. Cadence is right on there, and that just lets me know how fast I'm turning over the pedals. One of my all-time must-have data fields. And then just below that, I got max power. I don't use max power a lot, but when I'm out riding, if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing sprints, some sprint intervals, I like to know. When I'm out on a sprint interval, I'll try to see if I can get my all-time highest power, for a 5-second sprint. And it's just kind of a way to kind of pace yourself on your sprints, or it's a great way to have instant feedback when you're out doing your sprint intervals to know if you're really hitting it hard enough. So I don't use max power a lot, but I do have it on there, and I pretty much will use that when I'm doing sprint intervals just to see exactly how hard I'm going and if I am in fact improving. And at the bottom of the screen, I have my average power, which is just basically how much is the average power of the ride. And that's actually a really important field for me, especially in my races, because when I'm racing, obviously, power numbers kind of go out the window, because at the end of the day, you have to pretty much stick with wheels if you want to stay with the lead group. But it's nice to know, hey, my average power is only 155 right now. I know that I can put out more. It can help build your confidence during a race, knowing that you're not burning too many matches, or that you haven't burnt too many matches to that point. And I also obviously use it a lot on my training rides. I would use it mostly for on my recovery rides, or if a day that I wanted to go particularly easy, I will make sure that I'm riding at a particular wattage, which for me, on my recovery days, I try to stay in that 1.5 to 2.2 watts per kilo range. And having the average power data field allows me to pace out my rides effectively and stay within certain power zones. So there you have it, guys. Just a quick breakdown on the screens that I use on my Garmin, and a few reasons why that's the case. I hope you guys found this video informative. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you again right back here in the next video.